The shuttle slowed as it entered the station's outer ring. Bright lights reflected off its metal body, and hundreds of eyes watched from behind thick glass walls. This was the Galactic Combat Academy, a place where the strongest species trained together. Many races had passed through these halls. Few were remembered. Today a new group arrived. Among them was a human. His name was Ethan Ward, a cadet from Earth. He stood quietly as the ramp lowered. He did not smile, did not look nervous. He simply observed. His eyes moved from left to right, taking in the wide training yards, the floating drones, and the tall alien instructors. Around him whispers started. That's a human? They look small? Deathworld species? That one? Ethan heard none of it, or maybe he chose not to react. He adjusted the strap of his bag and stepped forward with the others. The academy yard was massive. The ground was smooth metal, designed for low-gravity species. Tall beings with armored skin stood beside thin, long-limbed creatures. Some had claws, had eyes that glowed softly. Most of them looked at the humans with curiosity, and some with mockery. 7 alien cadets stood together near the training zone. They were not from the same species, but they shared the same attitude. Strong bodies, sharp teeth, loud voices. They'd already made names for themselves by overpowering weaker cadets. Their leader noticed Ethan. He tilted his head and laughed. That one? The alien said loudly. That's the Deathworlder everyone talks about. The others laughed with him. Ethan kept walking. The instructor, a tall reptilian being, raised a claw. All new cadets will line up, he said. You are here to learn discipline, control, and cooperation. As the line formed, the 7 aliens moved closer, slowly, on purpose. One of them stepped in front of Ethan. Hey, human, he said. Is it true your planet tries to kill you every day? Ethan stopped. He looked at the alien calmly. Yes, he replied. That answer caused more laughter. Another alien leaned in. And why are you here? You don't look special. Ethan said nothing. The leader of the group circled him. We heard humans are dangerous, but you look weak. Soft. Ethan finally spoke again. His voice was calm and quiet. I don't want trouble. That only made it worse. The leader smiled. Trouble found you. Around them, other cadets noticed the tension. Some slowed their steps. Others stopped completely. No one stepped in. Fights were common here, and humans were new. The instructor was distracted, speaking to another group. The 7 aliens moved closer, forming a loose circle around Ethan. This is not a fight, one of them said. Just a lesson. Ethan looked around. 7 bodies, different shapes. He measured distance, balance, and movement. His breathing stayed steady. You should walk away, Ethan said. The leader laughed again. Or what? Ethan did not answer. The air felt heavy. Even the nearby cadets sensed something change. It was not fear. It was focus. The leader raised his hand. On my mark, he said to his group. Ethan lowered his bag gently to the ground. That small action caught some attention. The leader's eyes narrowed. Oh, getting ready. Ethan rolled his shoulders once. Yes, the word was simple, flat, but something about it made the nearest alien hesitate. The leader snarled, Mark. The first alien lunged forward. At that exact moment, the training yard went silent. No cheers, no shouting, just the sound of a single step forward. Ethan moved. It's not fast. Precise. The crowd leaned in without realizing it. What happened next would last only seconds. The galaxy would never forget it. The first alien rushed forward with a loud roar. He expected fear. He expected the human to panic or step back. Ethan did neither. He moved slightly to the side. Not fast, not slow. Just enough, not fast. The alien's attack missed. Before anyone could react, Ethan's hand struck the alien's chest. It was not flashy. It was not dramatic. But the sound echoed across the yard. The alien flew backward and hit the ground hard. Silence fell. For less than a second, everyone froze. Then the second alien attacked from the left. He swung wide, using his long arms to grab the human. Ethan stepped inside the reach, grabbed the arm, and twisted. There was a sharp crack. The alien screamed and dropped. The third and fourth aliens attacked together. That was their mistake. Ethan moved forward, not away. He ducked under one strike, drove his shoulder into the other alien's body, and sent him crashing into his own teammate. Both fell in a tangled heap. The crowd could barely breathe. This was not a fight. This was a lesson. The fifth alien hesitated. He had strength. He had size. But now his eyes showed doubt. He tried to retreat. Ethan did not chase. The alien lunged again, desperate. Ethan blocked the strike, grabbed the alien's collar, and slammed him into the ground. The metal surface shook. The sixth alien screamed and charged, claws out. He did not even finish the move. Ethan kicked once. The alien collapsed mid-step, gasping. Now only the leader remained. The leader stood frozen. His mouth was open. His eyes were wide. He had planned this. He had counted numbers. He had counted strength. He had not counted skill. You cheated, the leader said, stepping back. Ethan said nothing. The leader roared in anger and fear. He rushed forward, swinging wildly. Ethan waited. At the last moment, he stepped aside, grabbed the leader's wrist, and twisted. The leader fell to his knees. Ethan placed one knee on his back and pressed down. The fight was over. 7 bodies lay on the ground. Some groaned. Some did not move. Ethan stood up slowly and stepped back. The entire training yard was silent. No cheers, no laughter. No insults. The instructor turned around at last. His eyes widened as he took in the scene. "What happened here?" he demanded. No one answered. Medical drones rushed in, hovering over the fallen aliens. Alarms began to sound as scanners lit up. Multiple fractures detected, internal damage, unusual impact force. The instructor looked at Ethan. He said sharply. "Explain." Ethan stood straight. His hands were relaxed at his sides. His breathing was calm. "They attacked me," he said. "I warned them." The instructor stared at him, then at the injured aliens. Around them, the other cadets whispered. He didn't even look angry. "Did you see how fast that ended? That was a Deathworld human." One alien medic knelt beside a fallen cadet. His eyes widened as he checked the readings. "These injuries." The medic said slowly, "They were not caused by rage." The instructor frowned. "And by what?" The medic looked at Ethan again. "Control?" The instructor turned fully toward the human. "What gravity do humans train under?" he asked. "Earth gravity," Ethan replied. The instructor paused. Earth gravity was more than double what this station used. The realization hit slowly. The instructor spoke quietly, but his voice carried. 7 attacked one, he said, and 1 walked away. Ethan picked up his bag from the ground. "I told them to stop," he said once more. No one argued. As Ethan walked back to the line, every alien stepped aside. No one blocked his path. No one laughed. No one spoke. Behind him, 7 bullies lay broken on the ground. Ahead of him, the academy watched a human for the first time. And fear began to replace doubt. The medical bay was bright and quiet. White lights hovered above the injured aliens as drones moved back and forth. Soft beeping filled the air. Screens showed lines, numbers, and warning symbols. 7 bodies lay on separate platforms. Doctors from different species gathered around them. Some had extra eyes. Some had long fingers made for delicate work. All of them wore the same expression. Shock. One doctor zoomed in on a scan and leaned closer. "This fracture pattern is impossible," he said. Another shook her head. No weapons were used. A third doctor looked at the timestamp. The injuries happened within seconds. They looked at each other in silence. Across the room, Ethan sat on a bench. His hands rested on his knees. He stared at the floor, calm and quiet. A guard stood nearby, not to restrain him, but because the rules demanded it. The instructor entered the room and spoke to the head doctor. "How bad?" Doctor hesitated. "They will live. But they will remember this." The instructor nodded slowly. "Explain." The doctor pulled up a full-body scan. "These aliens come from low to mid-gravity worlds. Their bones are lighter. Their muscles are strong, but built for speed, not impact." He switched the screen. "This is the human." Ethan looked up. The scan showed dense bone structure, thick muscle fibers, reinforced joints. One doctor whispered, "That's not normal." The instructor corrected him. "For humans, it is." The doctor zoomed in further. "This density, this endurance, these reflexes." He did not strike with full force. The room went quiet. "You're saying," the instructor said slowly, "he held back?" "Yes," the doctor replied. "If he hadn't, some of them would be dead." Across the bay, one of the injured aliens woke up. He groaned and tried to move. Pain flooded his face. "What? What happened?" he whispered. A nurse gently pressed him back down. "Do not move." The alien's eyes shifted and locked onto Ethan. Fear replaced confusion. He didn't scream, the alien said weakly. He didn't rage. It moved. The instructor turned to Ethan. "Why didn't you finish them?" Ethan looked up calmly. "They stopped." The instructor studied him. "On many worlds, that would not matter." Ethan nodded. "On mine it does." That answer unsettled the room more than any threat could have. The instructor turned away and activated a wall display. A council symbol appeared. Minutes later, several high-ranking figures joined through holograms. Their faces were serious. Some looked curious. Others looked concerned. The instructor gave a short report. 7 cadets attacked 1 human. The human defended himself. The fight ended in seconds. One council member leaned forward. "Casualties. No deaths," the instructor replied. "By the human's choice." The council member paused. "Explain choice." The instructor gestured to the scans. "Humans are from a death world. Their bodies are built to survive constant danger." "What we saw today was not aggression." Another council member frowned. "Then what was it?" the instructor answered quietly. "Discipline." The council members exchanged looks. One of them asked, "How many humans are enrolled?" 23, the instructor replied. The room went silent. The council member spoke again. "And how many fights have they started?" "None." "And how many fights have they ended?" The instructor glanced at Ethan. "This is the first," he said. "It will not be the last." The council ended the call. Ethan was released without punishment. As he walked out of the medical bay, aliens stepped aside again. Their eyes followed him, not with anger, but with caution. In the hallway, 2 cadets whispered, "He didn't look dangerous. That's why he is." Ethan reached his quarters and paused. He looked at his hands. They were steady. He thought of Earth, of gravity, of training, of lessons learned young. Control mattered. Outside, news of the fight spread across the academy. The words changed as they traveled. 7 attacked 1. The human did not lose control. The human chose mercy. By night cycle, a new phrase was whispered in the halls. "Deathworlders don't fight to win," someone said. "They fight to end it." The council chamber was quiet. Not the normal quiet of rules and order, but the heavy quiet of realization. Holographic screens showed paused footage from the training yard. Frame by frame, Ethan's movements were analyzed. Every step, every strike, every moment of restraint. A tall council member spoke first. "Replay the moment again." The image resumed. 7 aliens surrounded 1 human. Then, seconds later, 7 bodies on the ground. The council member exhaled slowly. "This should not be possible," another council member replied. "It is possible." He simply ignored the warnings. The word Deathworld appeared on the central display. One of the younger members asked, "Define it again." The instructor's voice echoed through the chamber. "A death world is a planet where survival is not guaranteed. High gravity, unstable climate, predators, disease, constant danger." Images replaced the word. Storms tearing through cities. Massive predators hunting. Mountains, deserts, frozen lands, Earth. On such worlds, the instructor continued, life does not adapt to comfort. It adapts to pressure. A council member frowned. "But humans appear fragile." "Yes," the instructor replied. "Because they learned efficiency, not intimidation." Another member leaned forward. "Explain the gravity difference." The instructor nodded. "The academy operates at low standard gravity. Humans are trained under more than double that. To them, this station feels light." Silence followed. So when the human moved, the council member said slowly, "He was not pushing his limits." "No," the instructor replied. "He was restraining himself." That word again, restraint. The council replayed another clip, Ethan lowering his bag before the fight. "That action," one member said, "was preparation." No, the instructor corrected. It was courtesy. The council did not like that answer. Courtesy, one asked. Yes, the instructor said. He wanted to avoid damage to Academy property. The chamber grew colder. Meanwhile, across the Academy, the mood had changed. Training yards that were once loud now felt careful. Alien cadets watched humans from a distance. Conversations stopped when humans entered rooms. Ethan felt it. As he walked to the mess hall, voices lowered. Eyes followed him, not hostile, not friendly, aware. He took his food and sat alone. A tall alien cadet approached slowly. His posture was stiff. Human, the alien said. May I sit? Ethan looked up and nodded. Yes, the alien sat down carefully, keeping space between them. I watched the fight, the alien said. Could have ended them. Ethan took a bite of food. Yes. Why didn't you? Ethan swallowed. They stopped being a threat. The alien processed that. On my world, he said. We fight until one cannot stand. Ethan looked at him calmly. On mine, we stop when the lesson is learned. That answer spread faster than the fight itself. Across the academy, instructors adjusted schedules. Sparring matches involving humans were quietly delayed. Training parameters were reviewed. The term Deathworld cadet began appearing in official reports, not as a warning, as a category. Back in the council chamber, a final question was raised. Are humans dangerous? The instructor paused. No, he said carefully. They are controlled. The council member frowned. That is worse. Later that cycle, a private directive was issued. No group confrontations with Deathworld species. No harassment. Observe, learn, do not provoke. Ethan never saw the directive, but he felt its effect. The academy had not punished him. It had adjusted around him. That night, Ethan stood by the viewport of his quarters, looking out at the stars. His reflection stared back. He did not feel proud. He felt responsible. On Earth, strength meant survival. Here, it meant balance. Behind him, the Academy whispered a new truth. Deathworlders were not monsters. They were limits. The galaxy had just brushed against one. The summons arrived during the next cycle. Ethan was called to the central command hall. The message was short, formal, neutral, no threat, no apology, just a request. As Ethan walked through the wide corridor, he felt eyes on him again. But this time, they were different. No whispers, no laughter, no insults, just silence. The doors to the command hall opened slowly. Inside, instructors stood in a straight line. Behind them, holographic council members watched from above. Their faces were calm, but alert. Ethan stopped at the center of the room. Cadet Ethan Ward, the lead instructor, said. You are aware why you are here? Yes, Ethan replied. Do you regret your actions? Ethan thought for a moment. No, he said. But I regret that it was necessary. That answer surprised them. A council member leaned forward. You ended a fight in seconds. Many saw it as domination. Ethan met the hologram's gaze. It was defense. Another council member spoke. 7 attacked 1. That creates imbalance. Ethan nodded. I chose numbers. I chose control. The room remained quiet. The lead instructor took a step forward. You broke no rules, he said. But you changed something. What did I change? Ethan asked. The instructor looked around the room. Perception. With a gesture, the instructor activated a screen. Footage appeared blurred, angled, clearly recorded by a hidden device. It's a fight, already spreading. This was uploaded to the Galactic network, the instructor said. It has reached millions. Ethan looked at the screen. He did not smile. What are they saying? He asked. The instructor hesitated. They're not asking how strong humans are anymore. The council member finished the thought. They are asking why humans choose not to be. That was worse. Outside the hall, Academy life was changing fast. Human cadets were no longer challenged openly. Some aliens stepped aside. Others watched from a distance. A few approached carefully, asking questions instead of throwing insults. In one training room, a large alien paused before entering. Is there a human inside? He asked. Yes, an instructor replied. The alien nodded and waited. That small moment spread quietly through the academy. Back in the command hall, the council reached a decision. Cadet Ward, one council member said, "You will receive no punishment." Ethan expected that. But the council member continued, "You will be observed." Ethan nodded again. "That is fair." The lead instructor spoke one last time. "There is one question we must ask." He looked directly at Ethan. "If this happens again, will you stop?" Ethan answered without hesitation. "If they stop, yes. And if they do not," Ethan's voice did not change, "then I will. No threat, no emotion, just fact." The council dismissed him. As Ethan left the hall, something unexpected happened. One of the instructors bowed his head slightly, not deeply, not formally, but clearly. Ethan noticed, so did everyone else. By the end of the cycle, the academy had a new rule that was never officially announced. Do not test Deathworld humans. That night, Ethan returned to the training yard alone, the same place where it all began. The ground was clean now, no marks, no signs of the fight. He stood there for a moment, breathing slowly. Behind him, footsteps approached. Ethan turned. It was one of the aliens from before, the one who had hesitated. He moved carefully, keeping his hands open. "I wanted to thank you," the alien said. "For what?" "For stopping," the alien replied. "When you could have ended us." Ethan nodded once. "Learned the lesson. That's enough." The alien lowered his head. "On my world, strength means destruction." Ethan looked at the stars above the academy dome. "On mine," he said, "it means responsibility." The alien stepped back and left. Ethan remained alone. But he was no longer unseen. Across the galaxy, a message was spreading faster than any warning ever had. Humans were not feared because they were violent. They were feared because they could choose not to be, and that choice made them dangerous in a way no one was ready for. The video did not stop spreading. It moved from academy networks to civilian channels, from private feeds to public forums. Every time it was shared, the title changed slightly, but the meaning stayed the same. 7 attacked 1. 1 ended it. The 1 was human. Across the galaxy, people watched the same few seconds, again and again. They slowed it down. They paused it. They argued over it. How did he move so fast? Why didn't he finish them? Why didn't he lose control? Military analysts studied the footage with cold eyes. Doctors reviewed the medical reports. Historians compared it to old records that had been ignored for centuries. One truth kept rising to the surface. Humans were not new to violence. They were experienced with it. At the academy, changes became permanent. Training programs were updated. Safety rules were rewritten. Instructors now spoke openly about Deathworld species, not as myths, but as facts. New cadets arrived and were warned quietly. Do not provoke humans. Do not corner them. And never assume they are weak. Ethan noticed this shift every day. Humans were no longer laughed at, but they were also no longer approached easily, as some aliens nodded in respect. Others avoided eye contact. Fear and respect walked side by side. One cycle later, the 7 aliens who had attacked Ethan were released from the medical bay. They moved slower now. Some limped. All of them remembered. They did not speak to Ethan. They did not need to. The lesson had already settled deep. During a joint training exercise, an instructor addressed the group. "You are here to prepare for the unknown," he said. "We'll face enemies stronger than you, faster than you, smarter than you." His eyes passed briefly over the humans. "And some enemies," he continued, "will not need to prove it." Ethan stood in formation, still and silent. He did not feel victorious. He felt watched. One night, the Academy received an official transmission from the Galactic Defense Council. It was brief, but heavy with meaning. Human cadets are to be classified as strategic assets. Engagement protocols updated accordingly. The word spread fast. Strategic, not soldiers, not weapons. Assets. Ethan read the message and closed the screen. On Earth, people were already reacting. Old training videos resurfaced. Old warnings were replayed. Humans who had grown up under high gravity, harsh weather, constant pressure, finally understood what the galaxy was seeing. They had always lived this way. It simply never bragged about it. Weeks later, Ethan stood once more in the same training yard. This time, he was not alone. An instructor stood beside him. "You changed the academy," the instructor said quietly. Ethan shook his head. No, I revealed it. The instructor studied him. Do you think this will lead to peace? Ethan looked at the stars above. No, he said honestly. But it will lead to caution. The instructor nodded. Sometimes that's enough. Far beyond the academy, governments adjusted plans. Borders were reconsidered. Old threats were reevaluated, not because humans demanded it, but because the galaxy had finally paid attention. The fight itself was forgotten by many, but the restraint was not. Years later, new cadets would hear the story, not as a legend of violence, but as a warning. 7 attacked one Deathworld human. The fight ended in seconds. The consequences lasted forever. The galaxy learned a simple rule that night: never test a species that survives its own world every day.